The man smashed $1 million vase just to stay alive. He picked out 2 shards and tied them to a strip of cloth, making a pair of crude sunglasses. He had been trapped inside this 60-story mansion for several days. His true identity was that of a burglar. A few days earlier, Mark had broken into the mansion to steal a famous painting. The first thing he and his partner did was hack the security system. When he was about to leave with the loot, the system suddenly malfunctioned and set off the alarm. All the doors locked automatically. Even the walkie-talkie signal was cut off. Panicking, he tore down the room's speakers to silence the noise. He looked around for a way out. If he got caught, he'd spend the rest of his life in prison. The mansion's floor-to-ceiling windows were bulletproof, no way out there. After careful inspection, he noticed that the main door was made of wood. He pulled out a small knife and started hacking at it. Then the security system suddenly increased the temperature. Thirsty, Mark went to the kitchen to find water, but the faucet was dry. The toilet water was filthy, and he didn't dare drink it. The fish tank water was salty and foul, so he went back to the door and kept attacking it. He worked at it for 3 hours straight, only to discover a thick steel plate beneath the wooden surface. Now he was exhausted and starving. The fridge contained nothing but expired caviar and moldy crackers. He scraped off the mold and forced himself to eat the crackers with the spoiled caviar. Mark never imagined that after a lifetime of stealing, he'd end up trapped inside a mansion. The next day, he tried calling for help over the walkie-talkie again, still no signal. The house phone was dead, too. Even the computer had no power. He could only keep searching for another way out. In the bedroom, he found fruit sculptures made of stone. Mark hurled them at the window. The bulletproof glass didn't even crack. Just as despair was sinking in, he noticed a vent on the ceiling. He smashed the vase and made the sunglasses to shield his eyes from falling dust. He finally pried loose a chunk of concrete, but then saw that the frame was held in place by screws. He tried turning them by hand, but they wouldn't budge. Still, he refused to give up and kept working on the cement ceiling. The vent frame was secured with 12 screws. Mark was crushed by hopelessness. Then suddenly, the mansion's temperature dropped. He wrapped himself in a blanket for warmth. Through the surveillance monitor, he spotted a cleaner. Hope surged through him. He rushed to the door and began banging on it with a frying pan. But the steel door was soundproof, and the cleaner couldn't hear over the noise of the vacuum. He scribbled a note begging for help and tried sliding it under the door, but the gap was too narrow. Moments later, the cleaner left. The temperature in the mansion returned to normal. That's when he used a metal rod to pry open a hidden room. Inside, he found food and steak. Then he heard the sound of running water. He dropped to the floor and drank greedily. Regaining some strength, he kicked off a stool leg, then carved screw-shaped holes into it with his knife, making a makeshift wrench to remove the screws. But in the next second, his hope collapsed once again.